Special guest tonight in the evening edition, the French famous directors of film and documentary, Shoah, and the last one, the last of the unjust. That's why you are here in Israel and here on I24 News tonight. Hello, good evening, Claude Lanzmann.
Good evening.
And this interview will be translated.
Bonsoir.
Merci d'être avec nous. Vous êtes en Israël pour présenter.
Thank you for coming. You are in Israel to present your last film, The Last of the Unjust. We'll talk about it in a moment. Before that, do you remember the reception your masterpiece Shoah got here in Israel?
Shoah.
Oui.
Yes.
Comment c'était?
Formidable.
Wonderful. Triumphant. I can't think of any example of criticism.
Je n'ai aucun exemple de...
Pages and pages were published in the newspapers.
Il y avait des pages entières dans les journaux et ils avaient le sentiment de...
They all had the feeling that they discovered something fundamental.
De fondamental.
Parce que c'est particulier de venir présenter.
It is uncommon to come and present a film about the Holocaust in Israel, as you do today actually.
Oui, c'était particulier, mais
yes, it was peculiar.
Ça leur appartenait aussi, la Shoah.
But they knew the Holocaust belonged to them as well, of course.
Formidablement.
I was extremely happy with the reception the film got.
Qui a été réservé à ce film.
I don't know, for example, in a newspaper like Davar.
Davar.
I believe it's a trade unionist newspaper. Almost always published 10 articles day after day about Shoah. And everywhere.
Sur Shoah. Et partout.
Alors aujourd'hui, vous revenez avec un film.
Today you're back with a film which, let's say, is more open to interpretation. This film, The Last of the Unjust, might grant you a bit less unanimous reception.
De ce film, le dernier des injustes.
D'accord.
Ouais.
Mais j'étais hier soir.
Listen, just okay.
Où c'était la première.
But I was at the premiere yesterday at the Jerusalem Theater. The hall was absolutely packed. The film is quite long. It lasts 3 hours and 38 minutes.
Et ils ont fait une interruption à laquelle je ne m'attendais pas, mais il paraît que c'est la règle dans ce...
There was an intermission I did not expect, but as it turns out, that's the rule in this country. Everybody came back immediately after the intermission, and the hall was as packed at the end as it was at the beginning. People cried, they kissed me, they came to hug me, took pictures with me. I signed autographs on pieces of paper, on anything. I'm quite used to that.
Dédicaces sur des bouts de papier, n'importe où. J'ai un peu l'habitude de ça.
Vous vous attendiez à ça ici?
Did you expect that here because that film deals with...
à ça quand même, parce qu'ils sont pas stupides.
Yes, I expected that. They're not stupid. And the film repairs a deep injustice.
Par une injustice profonde. Je pense que tout le monde a été...
I think everyone has been very unfair to that man, Benjamin Mormelstein, and especially the Israelis.
Particulièrement.
Le titre?
Did he give himself that title, or did you come up with it?
Non, il y a eu un livre magnifique.
No, there's a wonderful book titled The Last of the Just, written by André Schwartz-Bart. That book won the Prix Goncourt in Paris.
À Paris, je ne sais plus en quelle année, dans les années 70. Et...
I don't remember what year, in the 70s. It's a very touching book, and Mormelstein, he's amazingly cultivated. He knows everything. Sarcastically, he called himself that, the last of the unjust.
C'est baptisé lui-même ainsi, mais...
Eventually, I thought it would be a wonderful title for a film that I suggested I would make, or more precisely, that I've started to make. I gave it that title, that's it.
Que je me proposais de faire, ou plutôt que j'étais en train de faire. Et j'ai donné ce titre. Voilà.
Alors, il faut donc maintenant venir au sujet.
Let's talk about the film's topic, because that's what the argument is about, and that's the interest of this work. You shot and you met that man at the very beginning of the shooting of Shoah. Why did you wait for so long, and why didn't you include him in Shoah? Did you figure already then this man would be controversial? No?
Pas du tout.
Non.
Pas du tout. C'est pas à cause de ça, mais si je vous raconte la vérité, on en a pour trop longtemps.
Not at all, not at all. That's not the reason. But if I told you the real story, it would take too long. So I'll have to sum it up.
Il est le premier protagoniste avec lequel j'ai tourné Mais je n'avais pas encore commencé à tourner le film, je ne connaissais même pas mon sujet.
So the last will be the first, and the first will be the last. He's the first protagonist I've started to shoot, but I hadn't started to shoot the film yet. I didn't even know what the topic would be.
Son cœur, c'était pas un film sur la survie, c'était un film sur la radicalité de la mort.
I knew I was going to make a movie about what was called the Holocaust, but I didn't know what the core topic would be.
Des livres d'historiens. The
core topic was not about survival, but about the radical nature of the death in the gas chambers. I had read many books written by historians, and Momelstein was attacked, as were all community leaders, the Jewish council everywhere.
Je trouvais qu'il y avait une contradiction profonde dans cette notion de collaborateur appliqué aux Juifs.
They called him a collaborator. I was bothered because I saw a deep contradiction when a Jew is called a collaborator. I can't understand how a Jew can be a collaborator. There were collaborators in France, as we know. They were in Belgium, in every country where the Germans were. That means people who shared the Nazi ideology completely, even anti-Semitism. That was not the case with the Jews. The Jews were forced, coerced, threatened with guns. Many of them died. They either committed suicide or executed by the Nazis when they became useless. They didn't have a choice. They were forced to do so. Momelstein did save 123,000 Jews in Vienna. 200,000 Jews lived in Vienna on the day of the Anschluss.
Il y avait 200,000 Juifs à Vienne au moment de l'Anschluss.
The Anschluss, that is, the annexation of Austria by the Reich, by Germany, made their life impossible. Everything was forbidden all of a sudden. They were disgraced. Everyone knows the story. They were forced to clean the gutters with their toothbrush. The final solution already began because the Nazis wished to get rid of the Jews, to expel them even.
Et alors, c'est déjà la solution finale, parce que les nazis souhaitaient se débarrasser des Juifs, même les faire partir. Ils ont créé une Zentralstelle für jüdische Auswanderung.
They founded what was called a Zentralstelle für jüdische Auswanderung, the central office for Jewish emigration, but they would not let them take a penny. They had to leave their money. So that's already a death sentence if you can't afford to live. I think this film shows for the first time, and even better than Shoah, the genesis of the final solution. Momelstein is everything but a collaborator. Everything.
Et Momelstein est tout sauf un collaborateur. Tout. C'est un.
Au fond, qu'est-ce qu'on lui a reproché?
Basically, what was he accused of?
Intelligence très aiguë, d'un immense savoir et courageux aussi. Il a sauvé 123 000 Juifs de Vienne, il les a fait partir.
He was an extremely intelligent guy, very sharp, with a huge knowledge and courageous too. He saved 123,000 Jews in Vienna. He made them go. He compromised himself terribly, and then he was sent to Theresienstadt. He became head of the Jewish Council of Theresienstadt after Jacob Edelstein, who was the first one, and Paul Epstein, who was the second one.
Edelstein de Prague et Epstein de Berlin, qui ont été tous les deux tués d'une balle.
Edelstein came from Prague and Epstein from Berlin. Both were executed with a bullet in the back of the neck, Genickschuss. He was like a chess player. He foresaw the Nazis' moves. He used to say that the head of the Jewish Council is like a puppet, but a puppet that can pull strings itself.
And
that was able to save lives back then, yes?
Et il a sauvé Theresienstadt, qui n'a pas été détruit. C'est le seul ghetto qui n'a pas été détruit.
He saved Theresienstadt from being destroyed. That's the only ghetto that was not destroyed.
Der Führer schenkt den Juden eine Stadt. Le Führer fait cadeau d'une ville aux Juifs.
It was a gift. Der Führer schenkt den Juden eine Stadt. The Führer offers a city to the Jews. It was more of a curse than a blessing. It was horrendous. They lived in a dreadful set of conditions. The fortress of Theresienstadt could hold at most 7,000 soldiers at its peak. There were 50,000 Jews, including a lot of old people. They had to climb lots of stairs to reach the highest barracks at the end of the hallways. Once they got there, the old people couldn't get up. The old people died in their own feces because they had to climb up and down lots of stairs. It was terrible. There's a whole chapter in this film where Mommelstein speaks about a philosophy called als ob, the philosophy as if. Theresienstadt is the highest level of as if. People drank coffee as if it was coffee, while in fact it was water.
Mommelstein parle d'une philosophie qui s'appelle la philosophie als ob, comme si, et Theresienstadt c'est l'acmé du, comme si on boit du café, comme si c'était du café. En vérité, c'est de l'eau.
Et on faisait du théâtre.
And there was the theater and all kinds of things to show that there was a normal life, while it actually was the exact opposite.
Mais qu'est-ce qu'on lui a reproché?
But what was Mommelstein accused of? Of being too much in touch, of bargaining too much with the Nazis?
Non, pas du tout. On lui a reproché, et ce sont les Juifs qui lui ont reproché ça, les Juifs de Theresienstadt.
No, not at all. They reproached him, the Jews of Theresienstadt, who didn't even know him. He was rarely seen. He was too, as opposed to his two predecessors, Edelstein from Prague and Epstein from Berlin, he turned off all bargaining. The Germans asked for a convoy of 5,000 people to the east. He didn't know if it was Auschwitz or Minsk or Riga. Only numbers mattered to them. They didn't want 4,999 or 5,001. They wanted 5,000. Who would leave? They didn't care. That was the Jewish Council's business. As a result, any bargaining, any bribing was possible.
Ce qui fait que tous les marchandages, toutes les corruptions, d'une certaine façon, étaient possibles.
People came, no, I don't want to go. Put someone else instead of me, and so on. The people of the Jewish Council had a tremendous responsibility. When it was Mommelstein's turn, he refused. He told the Germans, there's nothing we can do. You're stronger. You want to deport us? Well, deport us, but don't ask me to give you names. People thought he would be like his predecessors, but he wasn't. When someone came and told him to remove him from a convoy, after the Germans made the list, he used to answer, you want someone to be removed? All right, but take his place. Nobody was that generous. People held a grudge against him for that. That's the very reason he was accused of collaboration.
Il répondait, vous voulez que quelqu'un soit enlevé? D'accord, mais alors prenez sa place. Personne ne poussait la générosité jusque-là. Et on lui en a voulu énormément pour cela.
He could have saved himself. He got a diplomatic passport from the International Red Cross. He preferred getting arrested by the Czech justice, which wasn't that gentle. Many people were hung. He was acquitted after many months in prison. All the charges against him were dropped. He took refuge in Italy, in Rome, because Israel was opposed to this acquittal.
Et il a été acquitté après plusieurs mois de prison de toutes les charges contre lui. Et il s'est réfugié en Italie, à Rome, parce que en Israël, il n'était pas d'accord avec cet acquittement.
Ouais. Donc toute cette réhabilitation.
Eichmann's trial, that's fundamental. He knew Eichmann better than anyone. He knew him for 7 years.
Il a été reproché aussi un petit peu.
Pardon?
Ce qui lui aurait été
He was reproached for that in a way. He was reproached for his ties to Eichmann.
Ouais.
Eichmann l'obligeait à cela parce que
Those weren't ties. Eichmann forced him. He was the most intelligent, the fastest, the bravest. Eichmann gave unenforceable orders, which he made even more unenforceable since he multiplied them and contradicted them all the time. Mommelstein was amazingly clever, and he was able to stand up against Eichmann.
D'une formidable intelligence. Et a réussi à tenir tête à Eichmann.
Juste un mot.
Just a word, unfortunately time is short. We can be talking for a long time about this documentary, The Last of the Unjust. Nowadays, when you see this anti-Semitism reappear in a new form with this inverted Nazi salute gesture, are you outraged? Do you think people haven't understood?
Je suis parfaitement révolté par cela.
Absolutely outraged. I'm not sure it was necessary for the Constitutional Council to forbid it. I tend to agree on that with Jack Lang. I'm just saying it would be enough to compare Dieudonné with the barber scene from Shoah, and we're done.
Il suffirait de mettre en regard de Dieudonné la scène du coiffeur de Shoah, et c'est fini. c'est fini.
A lack of education?
Manque d'éducation,
A lack of education, a lack of presence of mind, and so on. Dieudonné is not the only one to blame. The media also.
Dieudonné qui est responsable, ce sont les médias aussi.
That let him speak too much?
Qui lui donnent trop la parole et qui
They gave him the scene. They don't want to do what is needed. When I talk to you about comparing Dieudonné's statements with the barber scene, and he doesn't exist anymore. That's all. But they don't do it.
Il n'existe plus, c'est fini. Mais ils ne le font pas.
Eh ben, on va le faire.
We will promise. Thank you. You are in Israel to promote your last film, The Last of the Unjust. It won't be the last one. Maybe you will make another one?
Peut-être que vous en ferez un autre.
Certainly.
Bon, on me dirait.
You'll come to talk about it.
I don't retire. I'll die standing up.
Merci, Claude Lanzmann.
We are pleased. Thank you for coming tonight. It was a pleasure. Thank you.